Hello and welcome to FPL Waffle, a review of Game Week 9 and look ahead to Game Week 10 and a little wildcard draft I'm going to chuck in cheekily at the end as well. In terms of points for the week, it was another fairly standard week, bang on the average. I was happy enough with it though, even though the defence and Flecken again was shambolic. Into the midfield, Palmer, who I subbed in as my transfer this week, delivered with 10. I mean, to be fair, I've took him in for Saka, who I think got 1 point less, but I'm happy with Palmer moving forward and I've caught some of the price rises. So we'll take that. And Buemo just continues to do unbelievably. Again, if you don't have this man in your team, he has to come in as a priority. Bowen, I was really pleased with. Got a last minute penalty against United. Unlucky he's not getting any bonus, but pleased I held him another week for the 7 points. And then Captain Haaland up front, Southampton, with a disappointing sort of only one return, no bonus for arguably the best fixture of the season for him. And then the bench, I wasn't too worried about what I missed out on. So happy enough with the score. Looking ahead to the next game week, I've already made my transfers. So the defence and the goalie are looking fine. Gabriel, if he doesn't play, I've got like the likes of Rodgers to come in or face against Ipswich. So I've not got a bad bench cover for the likes of him. Same with McNeil if I need to. I'm hoping he plays for that Southampton fixture. So I've already made my transfers. So Salah has come in the team for Bowen. I've then got Buemo and Palmer, fine with those fixtures for those guys. Interesting to see how United do now they've sacked Ten Hag. And then up front, so I've brought in Cunha early doors for Haaland. So that's kind of the big talking point of the video. Haaland has gone. Cunha in. Unfortunately, there's a slight injury doubt with him since I subbed him in, but I think it's just, yeah, one of those precautionary, like he had some ice packs on his knees, but hopefully he'll be fine. And then Havertz against Newcastle. I don't mind having Havertz still because it kind of feels like cheaper Saka cover for now at least. So I'm going to keep the faith with Havertz a bit longer. And yeah, I'm captaining Salah against Brighton. I'm actually going to the game, so as a Brighton fan, it'll be a consolation if Salah smashes it. I'll get to watch him get me points. So yeah, I just think so. Kind of linking on from that. I mentioned the sort of the bench options already if I need them. Into the fixtures, so sort of thinking about this Salah Haaland thing, and if you guys are considering, whether to sell Haaland or not to make your team look better, you'll kind of see in a minute with the wildcard draft how good your team can look without the guy. Plus, hopefully, my team looks all right as it is. Look at these fixtures coming out. So I think with a player as expensive as the likes of Haaland, Salah, etc., you got to be thinking, I want to captain them most weeks to make their value worth it. Otherwise, you can spread the value elsewhere. And this is the real sort of thing for me. I've taken a hit this week to get rid of Haaland, which I think is questionable to do a hit for it. But I just wanted to get it done. I could afford to do, those moves if I did that early this week. It also means next week I can get in Son for McNeil for his home to Ipswich fixture. So for me, in my head, it made sense. But if you look at the fixture, so captaincy wise, so this week, okay, you could captain Haaland at Bournemouth. I've no issues with that. If you want to keep Haaland like and captain him, fair play, you could absolutely smash it. Bournemouth have been doing well though, and they're not sort of the easiest to break down seemingly at home. Salah at home to Brighton. We're without Lewis Dunk. We are conceding goals this season. As a midfielder as well, I'm really happy to take my chance of him outdoing Haaland or at least matching him in that fixture. Then in this next fixture, okay, away to Brighton, we're without Dunk. There could be goals in the game, but you're quite fine. I think captaining Salah against a Villa that can see goals. I'm going to probably be captaining Son next week against Ipswich. So you've got completely fine captaincy alternative there to Haaland. And then look at Haaland's run here. It gets quite tricky. Forest are good defensively. That's an away fixture of Palace. United might be better under the new manager. Away to Liverpool. Okay, Spurs concede some goals, but it's still Spurs. And you've got Salah away to Southampton. So you're quite happily captaining him in that fixture. And then it goes on. This week you're not going to be captaining Haaland there. Okay, Sally you might not be captaining, but you could captain a Son at home to Fulham. You could happily captain a Palmer at home to Villa. And then into future weeks, like Villa are playing here at home to Southampton, you could captain one of those guys. Palmer there in that game week, you could captain away to Southampton. What I'm trying to say is you can really happily cover your captaincy for quite a few weeks with no Haaland and spread your funds elsewhere. And linked to that, so with that in mind, I put a wild. Oh, if I can actually get onto the tab, I put together a wild card draft which I just think looks so strong with that Haaland. So Sells, Forest defensively, I think Sells is looking really good. Fabianski's now playing for West Ham, so he's a great 4 mil option. Ait Nouri with Wolves runner fixtures, so looking at the runner fixtures here for Wolves, just unbelievable. Hence why Cunha's come into my team, and he's also in this wildcard draft of Ait Nouri. He's a very attacking fullback, clean sheets plus attacking potential. I'm still keeping the faith in this draft of Gabriel, Trent, and Porro because I just think they're the most attacking defenders of the game, playing for decent defensive teams. They've got points sort of across the board that they can get, plus bonus. Buemo, like I said, has to be in. I think Palmer has to be in. He's just being so reliable this season, so on form. Salah's just playing so brilliantly, and he has decent run of fixtures with lots of captaincy options. And Saka just keeps ticking over for Arsenal, so I think he has to be in your wildcard draft. One suggestion is you could start off this wildcard draft while Saka has away to Newcastle, and I think away to Chelsea. You could bring in a Son if he's confirmed as fit, and then you've got home to Villa, home to Ipswich, and then you can jump to Saka the week after. So that's something I'd be tempted to do. Rodgers is currently in this draft 'cause he's just such a cheap, asset for Villa, and he's doing well. If you haven't got enough money for this draft, he's the likes that you could downgrade for a Dibbling. Also, you could save some money with Nuri. You could save some money up top. So I've got Cunha, Wood, and Welbeck. Again, they're just three strikers. One with a brilliant fixture run, who's starting to play quite well. Wood that's just on unbelievable form, and Welbeck that's on unbelievable form for Brighton. So to get three cheap assets like that, they're all firing slash have decent fixtures. Um, Brighton fixtures are good coming up. Forest still have a few more good fixtures before I think it changes a little bit. I just think it just looks like a very solid team. You've got an unbelievable midfield. Your strikers are in form. You've still got some really high class premium defenders. You're targeting some solid defenses slash fixture runs here and here. This Leicester guy's been playing every game and he's only 4 mil. And like I said earlier, you've got captaincy options covered across the board. So I think there's a lot of food for thought with this draft. I hope it's given you guys some inspiration as well if you're thinking about transfers or even wildcarding, etc. I'll leave it there for the FPL content because I don't want this video to be too long, but I hope you've found some of the things I've said useful. If you're done with FPL and that's all you're here for, tune off now. If you're staying for the Pokemon pack, it's another Paradox Rift hack. Can we get anyone at all to write home about if I can somehow get it in shot? It looks shiny, but it's a solid, oh, not a solid, it's a fairly average standard um, hollow rare Palkia. A Pokemon I like a lot, but he's not really worth much money, and I think I already have him. So it is what it is. Celebi. Thanks for sticking around if you stayed this long. Please like and subscribe if you found this helpful. If you want to tune in for future videos, I'll try and keep short and sweet. This is probably as long as it gets for a video that I do. But I hope you found it helpful if you stuck around this far. Have a great game week. Thanks again for tuning in, and I look forward to catching you all on the next one.